The Lord teaches. Nature spirits and human souls. Rain falls to the earth in the form of drops and droplets, some smaller, some larger. The same goes for snow as well as hail, where only tiny grains fall down on some occasions, while on others they grow as heavy as a pound, and upon high mountains even as heavy as a quintal, and usually in exceedingly large quantities, so enormous in fact that they could hardly be enunciated. The following question might be posed here. If each and every drop of rain, every snowflake and every hailstone draws a spirit along with it, then whence does such an immense host of spirits hail? And when it rained, snowed, and hailed back in the days of Adam, whence then came the spirits in that time, if none of the men upon the earth had died yet? Only, he who would consider the matter from this point of view, he would yet have to fall into a far greater error, one as great as the entire earth. Concerning the spirits of the people who died on earth, they may participate in the occurrences that must be carried out upon those spiritual beings beginning their migration through the flesh for the first time. Thus, when it snows, within the snowflakes are always contained spiritual potencies, i.e., newly arriving spirits, making communion with the souls liberated from the earth, and together they begin to make the journey through the realm of natural phenomena. And so, these are not spirits of the deceased, rather they are new arrivals in a way. Or if one would like to put it even more accurately, they are new emergences from the long slumber of the earthen matter. However, the spirits of the deceased, who wish not to adhere to the order of progression, may be pushed back onto the same path that the new emergences must traverse. The latter will remain within the earth and trot along their specific path there. Yet the spirits of the deceased will return after a short period of humiliation, something that can already be seen in the natural world. When it rains, the drops enter the earth and are consumed by plants, animals, and minerals. But here and there, one may already see, either during rainfall or thereafter, and especially in more elevated regions, how pale mists begin to rise. This certainly is but the smallest fraction of such a rainfall's volume, once more rising skyward in the shape of these mists. But it is also the smallest part of the spirits originating from the deceased, compared to the large part of the spirits that are just arriving. In terms of appearance, there is no difference at all, but in the manner in which the phenomenon is brought about, and how the spiritual being tethers itself thereto. Therein lies an exceedingly great distinction. With the newly arriving spirits, as well as the new emergences, everything pertaining to both spirit and soul is still entirely enclosed within matter. In this case, matter is not an inner center of mass being made manifest, something that draws down the spirit, like the compression within our balloon man. Instead, the spirit as well as the soul are still very much divided, so much so that hardly even 1,000,000 raindrops, snowflakes, or hailstones contain the essence of but a single spirit and its soul. In contrast, it is quite a different case with an already complete spirit, for with it, merely its material desires and inclinations are bunched together in a material form, after which these must, however briefly, share the bitter lot with those spiritual potencies that are just beginning their great cycle towards their eventual freedom. It would be quite difficult to determine which raindrop or snowflake would contain a nature spirit or a spirit that has already left behind all nature, because the outer appearance is the same. But it may certainly be considered when examining the varying size and weight of any given raindrop, snowflake, or even hailstone. For instance, within a large hailstone is not seldom contained a humbled spirit, one that has already gone its earthly course. So what about the smaller phenomena? All these are so-called nature spirits, of which, of course, there must be an inexpressibly large quantity, for they come to this earth not as a whole, but divided into an infinite number of spiritually specific particles. Just as no soul ever emerges from the earth with all its spiritual specifics united, for it always starts out divided to the highest degree. But why are they so divided in the first place? This division is important for two reasons. The first lies in the primordial spiritual being itself, where every spirit has divided and torn itself to infinity by its desire to become great. And the second reason lies in the fact that, by this very division, these primordially created spirits have naturally severely weakened themselves, down to the last drop of their strength. And as a result, they could never carry out their arrogant schemes. This dispersion of the spirit resembles the Babylonian language confusion, for just as the peoples had to scatter there, so did the perceptions and notions of the spirit have to scatter, so that never more could it grasp a full thought, let alone an entire plan. For this reason, to this very day, Satan is still eagerly endeavoring to reform his own archetype within every individual human being and spirit, to thereby regain the power that was his own in the beginning. For him to never again regain this power, he is divided and scattered throughout the whole of creation, and his spiritual was made material, from which the soul matter of every man now emerges. New spiritual matter is breathed therein, so that from every such emergence, an entire being may come forth, identical to the originally created being that sought to raise itself above God by its arrogance or expansion of ideas. This original conceit had led the being to, in a certain way, split itself apart, being fragmented into infinity, so that nothing remained of it, save for its ego and fundamentally evil will. All its faculties, ideas, and innumerable conceptual perfections were taken away, and it is exactly these things that now continually reach the celestial bodies, though most of them are already present, banished within the celestial bodies themselves. Thereby they divide themselves into spirit and soul, for within the soul, the I that was given and the self-awareness emerge from matter. And within the spirit, the knowledge of God is once again implanted in the soul, without which the soul, like a plant lacking rain and sunshine, would soon wither and die. Within the plant, as you know, the life of the soul first appears, and it cannot progress unless it receives spiritual nourishment from the air. From this it becomes apparent how and why so much spiritual matter descends to this earth in the form of the phenomena described above. And it may also be easily understood that it is not necessary for many people to have already lived on this earth for the multiplicity of these phenomena to come about, though it is clear that still many will live thereupon. However, once all the matter of spirit and soul of this earth is exhausted, a perfect spiritual earth will take the place of the natural one, no longer consisting of banished, but of free spirits and souls. The fact that the earth now consists of a myriad of banished souls and spirits is not only attested to by the daily recurring meteorological phenomena, but also especially by those simple individuals who have the ability to see things pertaining to the spirit and the soul. Those countless armies of water, earth, mountain, and air spirits, which have been seen at all times by one or another person. Of course, the learned world does not see such things, though it is unable to see many other things as well, things that are even closer and would be even more necessary for it to see than these spirits banished in earth and matter. However, no matter the faith or non-belief among the worldly scholars, the primeval truths remain as they are, and the bird may master the air today as it did ages ago, even without having ever diligently studied aerostatics at a Parisian university. And so, even today there are still many modest individuals who, in their simplicity, see, and not infrequently, even know more than an entire faculty of scholars. There certainly are more adept scholars as well, ones who at least do not doubt these things, but still only a few can even see them. We may now add to this insight many more useful observations, giving us a vantage point from which we'll easily be able to survey the entirety of the remaining spiritual earth at a glance. Thus, we shall make a few more observations of this kind shortly, as well as some memorabilia.